If you're looking to sew a really easy dress sewing pattern, I'm going to make this one in this video. Hey guys, I'm Tammy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to sew the Priya Dress sewing pattern and hopefully it will take me a couple of hours. So I'm going to be using this fabric right here and it's so bright and colourful. This is actually one of my own fabric collections with Minerva. I'll leave a link down below, but this specifically is a really pretty viscose fabric that's got a really nice amount of drape, and I just know in a gathered dress it's going to move perfectly. I've got a whole bunch on this roll, but I'll probably only need around 2.5 meters to make the Priya dress in the version I'm going to be sewing. So the Priya dress pattern comes in sizes 6 to 32 and it's a very beginner friendly make. You can either print the pattern at home using the print at home files, so on A4 or US letter paper, or you can take the A0 file and print it at a printing shop. If you have a projector, you can use the projector ready files too to cut directly on your fabric. The Priya dress actually has quite a few different variations. You can either sew it with sleeves or sleeveless, and then for the skirt you can have different tiered lengths and it just makes it a really fun and versatile pattern. I've got my pattern already printed out and this is just the top section, but let me go ahead and cut out my fabric. So I've just gone ahead and cut out all the fabric I need to make this dress. So when we cut out the skirt section for this pattern, it's basically a bunch of rectangles because that's what you use to gather it. I do have in the instructions the exact measurements in case you want to draw the pattern out onto your fabric instead of printing out. Also, personally, when it comes to making summer dresses, I prefer to make them out of fabrics like cotton, linen or viscose because they're much easier to handle. I actually realized that I don't know if I have many polyester fabrics in my stash anymore. This specific fabric is a really nice viscose, and I was watching that documentary on Netflix, I think it's called The Plastic Detox, and they talk about the fact that the amount of plastic that's in our clothes, and I've definitely been making more of a conscious effort to buy fabric that's natural and that isn't polyester because I can't stand polyester against my skin anymore. But it'd be interesting to know what types of fabric you like to sew with and if you've been a bit more conscious with what the actual makeup of the fabric is. So like I said, I'm going to be sewing the sleeveless version of the Priya dress. So I've got the bodice right here, we've got a front bodice and also a back bodice. And we basically place them right sides together and we're going to sew the shoulder and the side seams. So I'm just going to place the front on top of the back, and then I just like to use some clips to go ahead and clip the shoulder seams and the side seams. Now, if you watch my latest video, you would know that I've got a new sewing machine and this is it right here. I absolutely love this sewing machine. Obviously, you do not need an expensive machine to get started sewing, but it does make the process so much easier. So I'm just threading the machine, and features that I absolutely love is a self-threading one. So let me just show you. When I press this button, you can see that the machine actually threads itself and it just makes the process so much quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the shoulder seams and the side seam of the top using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to finish it using an overlocker, but you can use a zigzag stitch or pinking shears. So I've gone ahead and sewn the shoulder seams and the side seams for the bodice, and you can see that's what that looks like. Now the front and back is sewn together. Now, as I said, I'm going to sew the sleeveless variation. And to do that, we've basically got some bias binding that I've cut out of my main fabric. And that's what we're going to use to finish the neckline and the armhole edges. Now I've got 2 for the armholes and I've got 1 longer one for the neckline. If you've never sewn with bias binding or it's always kind of confused you on how on earth you do that, I break it down super easy in my instructions and I'll show you exactly how to do that in this video. But I did want to caveat that if you are a complete beginner, use something like cotton for your first Priya dress or a dress that has bias binding, because using things like viscose, which is what this fabric is definitely much more slippery to handle and it can kind of move out of shape when you're working with it. So just bear in mind that fabrics like viscose, even though they have a gorgeous amount of drape, they can be more tricky to work with. But let me go ahead and show you how you sew the bias bound neckline. So I've got the bias binding in front of me for the neckline, and this is what it looks like. It's basically one long strip of fabric, and I've got the back bodice in front of me with the right side facing up. And what we're going to do is sew the bias binding to the neckline edge, starting at the back. Now you basically want to turn the bias binding over so the wrong side is facing up, and we're going to go ahead and pin it all along the neckline edge. I like to leave about an inch free at both ends, just so we're able to join it later on. So I'm going to be using clips because I find that much easier. But like I said, I'm just going to leave 1 inch free at the end. And then I'm literally just going to go ahead and pin the bias binding to the neckline. So I've pinned that all along the neckline edge like that now, as you can see. So you can see at the back here, I've left an inch free at the front, and then at the end, there's also more than an inch excess. That's totally fine. It's just in case you need more bias as you're going round. Now, before we go ahead and actually sew the neckline, what we're going to do is join these two pieces together. So at the moment, you can see one is much longer than the other. We're going to go ahead and pinch it together. It's easier when you do it on a table, but I just wanted to show you on camera. I've pinched it together so it's roughly the same circumference as the neckline, and I'm going to go ahead and sew that closed. So this is what I mean at the back where I've sewn the bias binding closed. You can see where we had those two flappy bits of excess bias tape. I've just gone ahead and literally sewed them together so it basically fits the neckline exactly as it should. Once we've done that, now we can go ahead and sew the bias binding at the neckline all the way around the edge that we pinned. So let me show you what that looks like now that I've sewn that in place. So you can see right here, I've sewn the bias binding down at the neckline all the way around. Now we're going to go ahead and actually fold the bias binding over. So I've got the neckline in front of me where we've sewn this bias binding, and it's really simple to sew this. All you have to do is, this is the seam that we just sewed all the way around. You basically want to push that seam up into the binding, fold it over so it meets that seam line, and then fold it over once more, and now you can see the binding is fully inside, and if you look at the right side you can't see any binding, and you just want to fold it like that all the way around and pin that in place. So hopefully that makes sense of how you sew the bias binding. It really is actually very simple to do, especially once you've done it once or twice, you really get the hang of it. And this is just one of my favorite ways to finish off neckline edges, because it means that you don't see any of the raw bias binding at the neckline, and it's basically completely hidden inside the garment. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that folding technique all the way around the neckline, and I'll come back once that's finished. These types of techniques really make me realize that when you are a beginner, it is definitely quite scary to try new things. But as you do go ahead and try different techniques, you really begin to understand that they're not as difficult as it looks, especially once you've done the same thing once or twice before. So this is what the neckline looks like now that I've gone ahead and clipped around the bias binding. So this is what I mean that you can't see it from the right side. So the wrong side looks like this, where I folded the bias binding over. And on the right side, you can't actually see any of the bias binding because it's neatly been folded inside. It is such a great way to finish off necklines and armholes, especially on fabrics that are easy fraying. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this to my sewing machine and just sew around the edge of that fold to keep it in place. So this is what the neckline looks like now that I've done the bias binding. It looks so neat. So I've got the right side that looks like that, and then if I turn it around, the wrong side looks like that. It's nicely sewn along the binding, and it just means that the entire neckline edge is completely concealed. Now I'm just going to go ahead and press that flat with my iron and repeat the exact same process with the armholes. So I've just gone ahead and finished sewing the armhole binding like I did with the sleeves all the way round, and you can see it just really neatly finishes the armholes for the sleeveless version. That's basically the top section done. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to sewing the skirt. Now I've got my skirt sections cut out. This is just the first tier of the skirt. I'm actually sewing the option where it's got 2 tiers, so one is slightly shorter and then the second tier is longer, and it just creates a really nice gathered effect once it's all kind of gathered in and you have 2 layers of this on the skirt. So this is the first layer, and I've got 2 pieces of fabric that make the front and the back, and I'm just going to align these with the right sides together and sew the side seams. So this is what the skirt looks like now that I've sewn the side seams. It's basically one long kind of circular piece. That's what the side seam looks like. I've just finished it as well using an overlocker. Now what we're going to do is basically sew a long gathering stitch all along the top edge so I'm able to gather the fabric after. It creates such a nice finish, especially for those floaty summery dresses. Now, if you've never done a gathering stitch before, all you basically have to do is make sure you've got the loose thread at the needle and the bobbin. I'll show you in a minute what that looks like. And then we're just going to increase our stitch length to 4. And that just means it will create the gathers a lot easier. And when we pull the loose thread, it will gather really easily. So right here, I've got my sewing machine plate, and you basically want to pull the needle thread and the bobbin thread, so they're both up here. Pull it so you've got a nice amount of thread hanging, and then leave that to one side, and then we're going to start sewing. Now you just want to make sure you don't backstitch at the beginning or the end of your seam, so just make sure you have long thread tails at the beginning and the end. So now I've got the skirt section that I've done the gathering stitch all along the top edge. I did the front section and then the back separately when I did that stitching. So I've got basically 2 places to pull the threads at the front and 2 at the back. Now all we have to do is pull the bobbin thread, and as we do that we're going to kind of move our fingers in towards the middle of the skirt, and that's what's going to create the gathers. It's very simple to do. The bobbin thread over here, and I'm just going to pull that. And as you can see, as I do that, it's gathering the fabric. I'm just going to gather it loosely for now. So basically the whole point of gathering it is you basically want to be the same circumference, the skirt, as the circumference as the hem of the top. And that just creates this really lovely kind of fluttery effect. Now what I'm going to do is, with the right side of the top facing out, I'm now going to slide this skirt over the top. So what I like to do is bring this up, take my skirt, and almost just put the top and the skirt together so right sides are touching. So I'm just going to pull the top so it's going to sit inside the skirt. So I'm first just going to align the side seams of the top and the skirt, and I'm going to pin that in place. And then I'm going to go and align the other side seam of the top and the skirt. And then what I like to do is kind of shake the top and the skirt out to see how much they're lining up together. So I can see here, if I take the front skirt and top and I just gently see how it's lining up, I would say that's pretty much spot on. There isn't any excess and it seems to be the right size. So I can just go ahead and adjust the gathers so they're nice and even, and then I can pin that in place. Now when it comes to the gathering stitch as well, some people like to do 2 lines of gathering stitch. I showed you in this video, I'm just doing 1, but it's totally personal preference and you can decide what works best for you and what gives you the most even gathers. So I've just done and pinned one of the skirts to the top, and now I'm just going to do the back side as well. So this is what the skirt should look like now that it's been pinned to the bodice, and I've kind of aligned where the gathering sits along that waist seam, and that's what that looks like from the front and the back. So now I'm just going to take this over to my sewing machine and sew that in place, and then finish the seam with an overlocker. But again, you can just use a zigzag stitch. So this is what that waist edge looks like now that I've gone ahead and sewn it in place, and I've used an overlocker just to finish that off neatly. I haven't cut away any of the spare threads yet, but let me show you what it looks like. So you want to go ahead and just turn everything to the right side. That's what the dress is looking like. So you've got the top section, which is attached to the first tier skirt, and it's got a really nice amount of movement. That's the front, and then the back looks like that. Now what I'm going to do is just repeat the exact same steps I did for that first tier skirt and do it for the second tier, and then I'll come back once that's done. So I've just finished sewing the last tier of the dress, and this is what the final dress looks like. You can see we've got the bottom tier that I've just added. I've also just hemmed it by doing a double folded hem, as you can see there, and it just creates such a nice and clean finish. Let me show you what the dress looks like on. I hope you enjoyed seeing how to sew the Priya dress. It's such an easy pattern and it is perfect for spring and summer. I'll leave a link in the description box and where you can find this pattern. The sewing community has made so many lovely variations of the Priya dress, and I'll leave a few on screen to show you exactly what that looks like. I also just love the fabric that I've used for this dress. It's so bright and fun, and it's going to be perfect for warmer weather. I'll leave a link where you can find this viscose as well. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you think of this dress, and I'll see you in the next one.